Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, what's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 274. I'm Phil Graham. Today, I'm going to be talking about what to do if your Facebook and Instagram ads are not working. We're going to talk about some myths about things that people think are the reasons why they're not working, which are not true. I'm also going to talk to you about a lot of the reasons why ads don't work. And we're actually going to dive into the 4 most common reasons why your ads aren't working and also how you can fix it. So my friends, I'm super excited that you're here. I hope you're having a great week. I love this community that we've built. I've been doing this podcast every single week for over 5.5 years. And I am super passionate to just continue to give you guys value because I really, truly care. I don't want you to get scammed or taken advantage of by all these fake gurus and fake marketers out there. And we're going to crush it in this episode. There's so much good stuff coming for you guys today. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, maybe you're looking for some one-on-one coaching so you can actually learn ads the right way, specific to your exact situation, or maybe you want ads run for you by a professional. For either one of those things, you can go to philgrahamdigital.com or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital and let's connect. This is such an important time to be able to upskill yourself and learn more about running ads effectively. And I love helping people do that. So with that being said, I want to jump in to this week's content. Let's talk about why ads might not work and what you should do if your ads are not working. The first thing that's very important is you do not want to panic if an ad isn't working, or even if all your ads aren't working. We have ads that have made insane amounts of great money that started off not working or not working very well. Had we turned them off, we would have lost out on so much profit. So sometimes it's a matter of letting them run a little longer. There's certain data points I look for to tell me if we're on the right track or not. I'm not just doing it blindly, of course. Other times, it's a matter of tweaking some things to get them to actually work. So if you do have something that's not working, don't panic. That's normal. It's like a basketball player expecting to make every shot they take. That's not how it works. That's unrealistic. You're going to miss some shots. But when you're good, you're going to make most of your shots and you can do amazing things. So do not panic. Don't be a deer in the headlights and freak out and just stop advertising. Just know that if something doesn't work, you just have to figure out why. One of the key concepts that I focus on is I always have to know why something's not working. I also need to know why things are working, because when we have ads that are crushing it, I want to know why they're crushing it so I can do more of whatever that is, whether it's the creative or an audience or whatever the case may be. Then I can scale it to the moon. But it's equally important, or even more so, when it's not working, so you can avoid flushing money down the toilet and quickly identify the reason and change it and test it, and then let data be your guide. So before I get into some of the common reasons why ads don't work, I want to actually talk about some reasons that people think is why they're not working, but most of these reasons are not true at all. So a lot of people think that ads might not be working because of inflation or the economy or who the president is or isn't, or who's in Congress or who's not in Congress, or another platform like, oh, TikTok's awesome, so Facebook doesn't work anymore, which is complete BS. I mean, Facebook has by far way more users, 2.9 billion monthly active users. Although I love TikTok ads too. We run TikTok ads, but Facebook is still my favorite. So it's not working because of that. Some people think they're not working because there might be a recession or any other thing, or a war or any other thing like that. Those are not going to be reasons for 99.9% of the people out there. Those are not the reasons why an ad is not working. That's just noise, and you want to just tune all that crap out. There is still tons of people buying things. And the real thing is, if like we are in a recession, or if we enter one, I don't know if we are or not really, but if we do, and the fact that there's inflation, it makes it a little more challenging. But if you're good at it, it's great. I love the challenge because most people are not good at ads. So a more challenging environment is great when you're good at what you do. Back to my sports analogies. I know I give these all the time, but it's like you're a professional basketball player. You're always just playing like high school teams. Like you don't even have to be a good pro. You can be the last person on the bench and have no problem being, these high school players. It's not a fair competition. But if you get to compete against some of the best or some other pro teams, as a really good player, that's where you shine. You love that kind of stuff. You can still win and do great. I feel the same way when there's more challenging times when it comes to ads. I'm actually seeing some positives because of inflation and some of the crazy things going on in the world right now. We've seen some really favorable ad costs with our CPMs lately that I'm really happy about. So in some ways, I've liked it even more in terms of the ease of what we're doing. Now there's no easy buttons, but when ads aren't working, it's not because of inflation or the economy or a recession or the president or anything else like that. So don't listen to that kind of stuff. If it's more challenging, you just need to get better at it. And you need to work on your messaging and realize people are still buying things. Now let's talk about why ads might not be working, because there's lots of valid reasons why ads aren't working. There's tons of them. You could have a bad audience. You could have bad creatives, which could be many things. It could be the hook. It could be angles. It could be attention getters. It could be thumbnails, value in advance, spammy ads. I mean, there's 100 different things that could be bad when it comes to creatives. You could just be cutting your ads off too soon and just not giving it enough time. You could have the wrong ad objective. Maybe you have a good ad, but the wrong objective. You could have a bad offer, whether you're selling something or trying to give something away. You could have the wrong price point. You might have a slow loading site. You might have a bad lead magnet or the wrong type of lead magnet. Or you might not be measuring effectively the data. One of our secret sauces is our ability to expertly measure and take action on data. And I don't think hardly anybody has that kind of skill. And that gives us a huge edge. So even not being good at that, with everything else being good, not being good at that could affect you. So there's a lot of reasons why ads won't work. And there's 100 more. But I wanted to talk about the 4 most common reasons in today's episode and how to fix that. So the 4 most common reasons that I found that ads aren't working, and this is beyond the obvious. Like the obvious is if you have a horrible brand name, like you've screwed people over, or you don't ship things, or you have a bad product or service. I mean, those kind of go without saying. So beyond all that kind of stuff, what I have found as 4 of the most common reasons that ads don't work, number 1 is people that run a lot of spammy sales pitch prostitution ads. I call them prostitution ads. You're running ads to people that don't know you, immediately wanting a sale before giving them any value. You're not even taking them out to dinner. You just want to close the deal. Now, if you're selling a really inexpensive product like a t-shirt or something, that can work. But for a lot of you guys, you need to actually give some value first, build a little relationship with your audience through ads by giving value and doing it the right way. And that can make a huge difference. You can still test the spammy sales pitch ads along with it if you really want to. But we've had the most success by far by running ads that are relatable to our audiences, where we actually truly do care. We're not just spamming them to death. We're actually trying to put something in front of them that's different, that actually improves their life or improves their day just by engaging with the ad. And we can still have a call to action in that too, but we're going to give value or inspiration or entertainment or all of those things first, and then give a call to action. Or we may not, and then we may retarget with the call to action, or both. So having a spammy sales pitch kind of ad is a common reason why the ad doesn't work. So that's number one. And I just told you how to fix it by doing ads that give value and really improve somebody's life. Number two, this is very common. I work with lots of people, whether it's coaching clients or people we run ads for, and I look at what they've done in the past. And not letting your ads run long enough is very, very common, or just changing them too frequently. Like you'll start an ad and 5 days later, it's like, oh my gosh, this ad hasn't made us a ton of money. Let's change some stuff. It's only been 5 days. Unless you have some huge budget, it's probably way too soon to change it. Like I said earlier, we've had ads that have done extremely well that didn't look great in the first 5 days or 12 days in some cases. But there were some data points that I saw that showed me that this is on the right track, and I'm going to give it a little bit more time. You've got to know how to look for those data points. You don't want it to just let it run if it's not going to work, obviously. So most people really err on the side of turning ads off way too soon or changing them way too often. There's not any magic number. I can't just say, let your ads run for 2 weeks, because it depends on lots of things. Who you're targeting, what the audience size is, what the ad is about, and many, many other factors. However, I will say that in general, unless you have some huge budget, it's probably going to be smart to let your ads run at least 10 to 14 days before you make changes. Again, that's very generalized. If you were a client or a coaching client, it would be specific to your situation. But a lot of times people will turn an ad off way sooner than that. And you might be turning off a big winner. So be very careful, because that's very common. Number three, another very common reason why ads are not working is that you have bad creative. This is a big one. There's so many ways that a creative can be not very effective. One of the most common reasons is either not having a hook at the beginning of your creative or having a bad hook that's not an effective hook. So a hook is something that gets people's attention. And so like if you're doing a video, if you start the video off with an introduction, hey, my name's Phil with so-and-so, there's no hook right there. If they don't know who you are, like you've already lost them. You have to get their attention immediately. You need a hook as the first thing you say and the first thing that pops up in the video. And then you can do an intro, and then you can give some value in the video. You should also have some kind of a hook at the beginning of your ad copy in written form as well. You've got to have something that's important to them that's going to stop them in their tracks. So either not having a hook or having a hook that's not very good is one of the most common reasons why creatives are not effective, that can make an ad not work and cause you to lose money. I can and will literally do an entire episode all about just the creative part, because there's tons of different reasons why your creative could be causing you to lose money. But in this short episode, I'm going to say the hook is one of the most important ones. You also want to test headlines and then thumbnails if it's a video, or obviously testing your images if it's that. Those are some of the common reasons. So you want to try out some different things, make sure you're using a good hook, and then use data to tell you if that's working or not. And then and like I said, I'll go into more depth in future episodes. It needs to be like an entire episode just on each one of these things, but this will get you started doing some of the right things and testing the right things. Last but not least, number 4 is the audience, having a bad or ineffective audience. A lot of people, when they choose the audience that they're going to send ads to, they just kind of choose one and that's it. I like to do many different types of audiences. I like to have a broad audience. I like to have multiple segmented audiences. I like to have, of course, retargeting audiences. And I like to have segmented audiences based off of certain pain points or problems we solve as well. And I use that data to tell me what is resonating with people. And so having the different types of audiences, not just using one, but having different angles with your audiences, using that data can make a big difference. And here's an example. Let's say you're running something right now and it's not working. It could be the audience or it could be the creative, or it could be something else, obviously, too, but those are two of the big things. So how do you know which one it is? You don't always know until you test. So you have to separate them out. So if you were running one ad that wasn't working with one audience and one creative, you could use the exact same creative, but test it to a different audience and then compare the results. You could also use a different creative with the same audience and compare the results of the original. And you might have some significantly different data that tells you if one of those two things were the reason why it wasn't working. And when you do that, you're relying on data. You're not guessing. You're not just turning it on or off for no reason. That puts you ahead of most people. So the only real way to find out and identify why something didn't work or even why it did work is to isolate each part of the ad one by one, audience, creative, etc., and then test them against each other and evaluate the data and follow the data. Test the right way, my friends. So again, like I said, in future episodes, I'm going to break each one of these down in the future where I go into much, much more depth. But I hope this is helpful. Make sure you guys don't just listen to this, put it into action. Run ads, test, evaluate data, tune out all the noise that's out there, and you can have so much opportunity for success if you just keep focused. Don't listen to anybody that tells you you can't do it. I believe in you, and I know that you have what it takes just by the fact that you're willing to listen to an entire podcast episode. Most people are not doers. You are a doer. So thank you so much for listening and for being here. I appreciate your attention. Put this into use into your business. Episode 274, my friends, is in the books. And if you want to get in touch, again, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, philgrahamdigital, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Lots of great stuff coming up. See you next time. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.